Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fishing the Mid-South, and today we're going to discuss different types of knots that you can tie for fishing, and we'll also test the strength. I've got my rig puller here. We'll do some testing later on, but first let's talk about some knots that we're going to test. So I'm using Eagle Claw 3/0 swivels, and for demonstration purposes I'm using some Suffolk Superior 40-pound high-vis mono, and I've got a black light. May hopefully make this a little easier to see. So the first knot we're going to start with is the clinch knot. This is probably one of the first that people learn. To do that, you take the line and you put it through the eye of either the hook or the swivel. And I'm going to use too much line because I'm going to exaggerate everything. So there's the eye. You got the line here. So what we do, we just wrap it over once, and then twice, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times. That's standard. You can go with more or fewer wraps depending on the diameter of the line. And then to tie that knot, we just pull it, wet the knot, grab us a pair of little pliers here, and we will give that a good pull. Then we cinch the knot down, and you want to make sure that you pull these nice and tight so everything cinches down properly. When you're done, you want to leave about 1/8 of an inch tag. And there is the clinch knot. Now we will cut that off. And we'll tie the improved clinch knot. This starts off just like the clinch knot, but has one extra step. So again, we start by going through the eye of the hook or swivel. Again, using way too much tag and show this. We're going to go over once, come back over a second time, a third time, 4th time, and 5th time. And again, we're going to go back through this loop at the bottom. But we created a loop here at the top in doing so. So we're going to take the line and we're going to go through that loop as well. And this is the improved part. Okay, bring that together by pulling the tag in. And then we will slide it down, moisten the line, and then we tighten it on home. Go ahead and again grab some pliers here and pull from the tag end as well. And when you're done, that is the improved clinch knot. Again, cut the tag end about 1/8 of an inch. And you're ready to go. Cut that one off. Try to clean as I go so I don't get mono everywhere. Now we'll do the Palomar knot. Now, you can double the line over and put it through the eye, or you can just go through the eye, turn it back around, and come back through the same side you just put the line through, which is the same as doubling it over and pushing it through. So again, we'll give ourselves plenty of tag end. There you are. So we'll take this, make a loop. We're just doing an overhand knot just like you've tied all of your life, but we're using the doubled over end to make that overhand knot. Now with the overhand knot completed, you then put the hook or the swivel through the loop at the end of all of this. Then we just kind of pull tight, and then we'll pull the standing end. That's the end that goes back to your rod, reel, whatever. So you get the standing end is this one, and then the tag end is the other one. And again, we'll give it a good pull with some pliers here. I love these little rig pullers. They help make this a little easier. And again, we'll cut it down to about 1/8 of an inch. Now, one of the things that you will notice about the Palomar knot is the tag end is going to stick kind of about a 45-degree angle facing the standing line. So if you're going through like weeds and stuff, they will catch on that a little bit. It's just part of the process. So that is the Palomar knot. And if I'm going too fast on any of these, you can of course slow it down or replay it on YouTube, whichever makes you happy. Now we're going to go with the Trilene knot. And this is going to look a little bit like the Clinch knot, or kind of a lot. You take the line, you go through the eye of the swivel or the hook, like so. Then you pull this line over, and we're going to go back through from the same side we came through originally. So we're going to pull this, give ourselves a little more tag ends since we're doing a demonstration, and that's going to create a loop here. Okay. See what we've done? Okay. Now we take the tag end. I'm a lefty, so I'm going to go behind instead of in front. And you cross the lines over. Try that again. And this forms a second loop down here at the bottom. So we'll go over around 5 times. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we will go through both of those loops. So the original loop that we created, and then the second loop that we created when we started doubling this line over. So one of the things that you want to watch out for is if you have too short of a tag end, when you go to pull it, this can be doubled over. So you just want to make sure you've got plenty of line in there. And then you just kind of hold on to the tag end and the standing end. Wet the line. Give it a good pull from both sides. Cinch it down. Good and tight. Now, one of the nice features about this knot, you'll notice that when the line comes out, it goes out to the side. So we can snip this knot, or snip the tag end. I can even leave this tag end a little long, and I'll show you why. So we take that tag end then, and we put it back through the swivel here. Easier said than done. It chose just the right length, so it didn't want to go through. And there we go. Give it a little push. So you can see that this kind of now pushes it so it faces away. So again, if you're going through grass or something like that, you're not going to snag up. Now you don't need this long of a tag end. I just did that to show you the option that you have there. So this knot works very well with mono, and it's one of the stronger knots. So you definitely want to add the Trilene knot to your repertoire. Okay, so we're going to try the Uni Knot now. Do the Uni Knot, you're going to go through the eye of the hook or the swivel. Going to double the line over. Then we're going to create a loop. So you've got 2 pieces of line. You got the line that's going to go back to the rod. You've got the tag end coming out. So you've got these 2 pieces are here together. And then you've got this large loop. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this line through the loop and also get the standing end. We're going to do that 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and and 5. So when you're done, again, you've got both lines in here and you've got the wrap. So we're going to pull that and we're going to get it, just kind of set the knot a little bit, get it snugged down, lubricate it, and we're going to pull the knot down to the hook or the swivel, whatever you're using. A good pull on the tag end. Good pull on the standing end. And that, my friends, is the Uni Knot. Again, this is another one. This one has the line coming straight back towards the standing end. So again, if you're fishing in grass and such, that can snag. For the purposes of this video, I'm not going to go through things like the San Diego Jam knot, things like that. Those are a little advanced for most people. And these are going to be terminal tackle connections. So not line to line, although you can use the double Uni Knot by putting 2 lines together and going around, basically 2 back-to-back Uni Knots, one against the other. But you know, things like the FG knot, the SC knot stuff is not going to be covered in this. This is just your terminal tackle. The next one I want to show you, this one is for circle hooks. You can use one that has a straight eye or one that has a bent eye like this one. Either way, doesn't matter. I'm going to use the bent eye hook because it has a longer shank and should allow me to get my fingers in there a little better, give you better visibility. So what we're going to do, it's important this is the No Knot Snell, and I've tested a bunch of different Snell knots, and this one is as strong as the line in most cases. The line will break before the knot does. So you take what will become the tag end, so everything's coming off the rod, but you do need to have the standing end available. This is going to be something you tie on leaders. So you come through the front of the hook, so that's the part with the hook point. Come through the front, and you just kind of hold the tag end against the back of the shank of the hook. Now, you need to check how your hook is designed, because all of them are going to be a piece of wire that is bent over and forms the eye. The part over here where it comes together, that is going to be, it can be sharp. So you want to start wrapping first toward the side that is not open. So we're going to take this, sorry, it slipped a little bit in my fingers. We're going to wrap this usually about 5 to 8 times. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can't do too many, I mean, until you get to the end of the shank. Then you take the end, again, this will become the standing end. We put it through the back of the hook. And well, we just kind of keep everything tight here, and then we snug this knot up. And once it's snugged up, you can trim the tag end some, but you want to leave a good 1/2 inch, and I will show you why. So with heavier mono, this is 40 pound that I'm using. A lot of people will use 60, 80, even 100 pound mono for catfishing. The line memory, and it depends on the brand of line as well as far as which ones are going to do this the most. The line memory can cause this to just kind of slide back through, and you can see those coils become loose, and you don't want them passing that tag end. Now again, no big deal. You pull it tight, you're good. Okay? And again, this is for a leader, so on the other end of the line, you would attach a swivel or other type of connection device. So you'd have this, the hook to the swivel, and then the swivel you would tie to your main line. And that is the No Knot Snell. Now that we've tied the No Knot Snell, I want to show you a variation of the Knot Snell. Cut off this piece so that line's good and straight. That is actually overcomes that issue of being able to back off a little bit. This is called the egg loop knot. This was originally designed people using eggs for salmon fishing. You can also, if you are catfishing and want to use chicken liver, you can put it through here as well. I'll show you how that goes. So we, again, start off the same way. Hold our tag end back here. We're going to wrap around 8 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you kind of have to figure out the best way that this works for you. But for me, I will just take this, pinch it back just for a second. Take the standing end, and instead of running it all the way through, we're still running it through the back, just like we did. We're going to stick it out about an inch or so. And then we grab that standing end. So this is the part that we've been twisting the entire time. This is the standing end coming back here. We kind of hold that against the shank of the hook and right next to the tag end. And then we're going to wrap it 4 times. 2, 3, and 4. And then you want to kind of pinch the piece you've been wrapping back here against the shank of the hook just for a second. And then we're going to pull on that standing end. And as we pull it through, we want to make sure that we don't allow these coils to overlap each other. And that is the egg loop knot. We'll just give that a good pull. And here you can cut the tag end down to about 1/8 of an inch again. Because when you push it through, it can't come undone because you've wrapped around the standing end. So this is the part that I was talking about. You could put in your chicken liver, you could put in salmon egg, etc. And if you're going to tie this knot, let me grab my other hook and another piece of string here. So if you're going to do this particular knot, it's often better to actually wrap more times. So we'll start again and we'll run our tag end down. And we're just going to start wrapping. And I'm not going to stop at 8 this time. I'm going to keep going. And the purpose of this, now if you're not using the egg loop portion of it, you're just really just using it so it doesn't come undone, then you don't need to put these extra wraps. These extra wraps, this is going to give you gap, a larger gap to put that egg or the chicken liver or whatever. So you can go, I mean, you can go nuts with this. Okay, again, all the same process here. And then we'll give it that 4 more wraps. 2, 3, and 4. And we'll just kind of pull everything up. You may get some twists here in the back, and that's fine. You just kind of work them through. As it pulls through, those twists will go away. And I managed to pull this end out. But that is your egg loop knot right there. And again, so you've got a much larger area here to work with. Now, as I've said, this is the Knot Snell and the egg loop knot. The egg loop knot's not quite as strong, but it's really close. And the reason that these get their strength is because what makes a knot weak is the tight bends, right? Because what happens is that the outside of this is going to get all of the pressure and the inside is not, because it's basically in a very tight knot, it's basically doubled over like that. So the shank of the hook gives extra diameter so that you don't create those weak points. The other thing is when you pull up, you're pulling against these coils, and that gives it a little bit of cushion. Not a lot, but enough that it matters. You're also avoiding this end over here where the wire is bent over. because that first piece that goes down to the tag end actually kind of seals that gap up. And when you come around with this knot, you're either coming directly from the back, or in the case of the No Knot Snell, you're coming around from the side. So you're missing that section, so you can't, it's not going to get into the sharp part that's going to cut the hook. The other reason that people like Snell hooks for Snell knots for circle hooks is the idea is, you know, when you're pulling it across and you hook, then this works as a trigger action. So it kind of helps set the hook in place, because the way a circle hook is designed to be used is the fish is supposed to take it in, even swallow it in many cases. And because of how the hook is shaped with the point coming out, it comes out of the stomach, and then as the fish tries to swim away, try that again. So the fish is trying to swim away, it's going to catch. And then this trigger action is going to pull back this way and push this point into the fish's mouth. So that is how we're going to tie these knots. I'll have another video coming up shortly that's going to go over the strength of these different knots. And I will warn you, the different knots work better and worse depending on the monofilament, or the line that you're using, in this case monofilament. It can vary from brand and also the weight of the line. So go through that, and thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you on the next one. Please like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and check out my playlist on knots and strength tests, and I have a Amazon affiliate link in my description if you would like to make a rig board like this, or buy these little rig pullers, or any of the monofilament. Most of the monofilament I use, like the Suffix Superior 40 pound, that came off of Amazon. It doesn't cost you any more, but it does give me a small commission. Thanks for watching, folks. We will see you guys on the next one.